Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. Chris Hipkins is standing by one of his MPs, even though a number of former employees have come forward to Newshub calling Shanan Halbert a bully.
The Labor Party was alerted to concerns about his alleged behaviour a year ago, but because staffers wanted to remain anonymous, no formal process was undertaken.
But since then, the rules have changed to allow anonymous complaints, and Hipkins is now urging anyone who might feel they've been treated badly by Halbert to come forward. Political editor Jenna Lynch has this exclusive report.
Labour's Northcote MP and candidate Shanan Halbert is all smiles all the time, presenting positivity. But a number of former staff members have approached Newshub with a different story. They say he's a bully.
Have any concerns ever been raised with you about his behaviour?
No concerns have been raised directly with me.
The staff members worked with Halbert in a range of roles. None wanted to appear on camera for fear of retribution. We've agreed to protect their identities. They told Newshub Halbert was manipulative, scheming, a narcissist, and that they live in fear of him. We tried to organise an interview with Halbert. He declined.
Can I just ask you one question on record now? Have you ever bullied anyone at work?
I mean, there's been certainly challenges in employment over different parts of my life, but I can't pinpoint any particular time that you might be referring to.
One staff member told us he was just an asshole. I felt belittled, I felt unsafe. They said I was broken when I left his office, absolutely broken. Another said he treated me like and another, I felt intimidated being around him.
After this issue was raised with me this morning, I made some further inquiries to see whether there'd been concerns raised with anybody else.
And there had. This is not news to the Labor Party. Newshub's obtained email chains which directly raise concerns with Labor's former Chief Whip, Duncan Webb. The first alert came from a bullying and harassment consultant acting on behalf of some of Halbert's former staffers. They emailed Webb on August the 22nd last year and listed Halbert's behaviour in black and white, saying he made staff members cry in front of others, publicly humiliated them, played staff off against each other and shouted at staff.
That behaviour on the surface of it is not acceptable.
The email outlined the impact it was having on one staff member in particular, saying she was feeling paranoid, unable to sleep, walking around on eggshells, feeling a failure, feeling that nothing she does is good enough, crying easily, sometimes unable to stop. The email also pointed out the staffer was concerned that he will victimise her if she complains.
That is very serious and it should be taken seriously.
Duncan Webb responded to the email the day after it was sent, saying, I can't take any formal steps on this information, but I can assure you this is both important and helpful.
Because it was anonymous and the people did not want to be identified or have the fact that they had made the complaint or raised the issue identified, the Whips team made appropriate inquiries.
3 weeks later, Webb responded again, saying, I've followed up and could not see a consistent thread in the various conversations, so have not taken any further action.
Newshub understands one former staff member raised concerns with parliamentary services in an anonymous capacity and received confirmation that the Labour whips had spoken with Halbert about those concerns.
Are you comfortable with Shanan running as a candidate?
Again, I'm not going to form a judgment on someone based on information that I cannot verify, but if there are people who have these concerns, I really would encourage them to raise them through an appropriate process, because there are now much better processes in place than there have been in the past.
The staffers told us they were speaking up because of Halbert's recent complaint about National MP Tim van der Molen bullying him at a select committee. The Privileges Committee censured van der Molen. Halbert condemned him.
Certainly there's no place for that sort of behaviour, for threatening behaviour or intimidation in Parliament.
The response of one former staffer to that, how dare he? How dare you accuse someone of being a bully with how you treat people?
Well, kia ora, Jenna. You've just had a statement through from Shanan Halbert. What has he had to say?
Yeah, he says he's always had good working relationships with staff, both inside and outside Parliament. He says occasionally employment issues arise in any workplace, but he's always done his best to work through those professionally and sought advice where needed. He also says the issues were only brought to his attention when we raised them with him today. He's never he says, had a formal complaint raised against him. Part of the problem here is Parliament's inability to deal with anonymous complaints in the past. The reason people will need to make anonymous complaints around Parliament is because of that massive power imbalance between MPs and staff. But there is now a process to do so, and both Hipkins and Halbert are urging anyone who wants to make a complaint to go through that process, engage with a formal process anonymously, as they can now do.
Jenna, thanks so much for that.